Alright, changing the brakes on this 2015 WRX today. It'll be the same process for the years I have listed in the title. Gonna upgrade to these nice drilled and slotted rotors. These ones are kind of shitty. I'm gonna do the fronts here, and then so the video is not too long, I'm gonna do a separate video for the rear. Loosen your lug nuts, which is usually about one full turn. Right after you have it secured on the jack stand, not just the jack, take your wheel off. Alright, so if you're just replacing the pads, you can just take this caliper off. So you would take your bolt here and here out, and then you would pry it back, set it on a block so it's not hanging from the line. But since we're replacing the rotor and pads, we're going to take the whole assembly off with the bracket. So I'm just going to take out my two mounting bolts here and take the whole assembly off. Alright, so I got the two mounting bolts out. For me, they were 17 millimeters. Need to set a block up, like I said, so you're not hanging it from this brake line. You can collapse that internally, and then your brakes will stick. So then you just pry it off with a screwdriver like that. Alright, so there's the caliper. This is the orientation of the pads. Gonna get this rotor off of here. Sometimes it'll stick, sometimes you get lucky and they're loose. You got these little screw holes here if the threads aren't completely rusted away, like these ones kind of are, where you can get the appropriate size screw and screw it in back and forth, and it'll push it off. But I usually just whack it with a hammer. Well, this is probably the most stuck on rotor I've ever had. You can see I've been beating the crap out of it and it's still stuck on there, so I'm gonna try to hit around this with some PB Blaster, see if it'll help break it loose. Alright, after hit it with PB Blaster, a few more whacks and it came loose, so alright, so drilled and slotted. If they're not marked, your slots go angled back towards the back of the car. Also, like a lot of rotors from your auto parts store, they come with packing grease on it to keep it from rusting while it's in storage. These are zinc plated or something, so they don't rust, so they come dry and I don't have to worry about that. But if you get rotors and they come with packing grease or they feel tacky, they're not completely dry and clean, you want to take brake parts cleaner to it with a rag until you get all that crap off. Alright, so now I gotta see if I can get these pads out of here. So they're pretty much just gonna push out. I've got these retaining clips here, like that. Same thing for the other side. The other side's usually a little more difficult. There's the old pads, and for some reason I always forget this part. The one in contact with the pistons, leave that in there until you push these pistons back. You need to push the pistons back all the way so that you make room for the new pad that's going to be much thicker. Alright, so with the pad still in there, you just kind of hook it up like that and turn it slowly, and you're still going to have to walk it a little because right here is the center. So right now I'm on this one. I'm going to have to go back and forth a little bit and walk it. And you want to I'm going to pop the hood and take the cap off the reservoir. Okay, so one thing I noticed as I was doing this, kept going back and forth. Once I got to where it was all the way down, it started pushing the other piston out, and then I'd come back over and push this one down, and then it would push the other one back out a little bit. So I just went back until they were both even. Alright, so some kits will come with the new hardware, all these little nightmarish retaining clips and whatnot, and that's what keeps your pads in there nice and secure and super firm so that they don't flop around or click around. Or these ones look all right. They still look functional. They look installed correctly. They're not rusting to pieces, so I'm not going to bother with them personally, but that's up to you. A note on your pads, that little tang there is your squealer, so when your pad gets low, well, that's the squealer. Not sure what this doohickey is. When the pad gets low, that part will touch the rotor and it squeals, so you know it's time to replace. This one has the squealer, that one does not, so this one will go on the back. Alright, so I got it latched in there. You're gonna have to pull, well, if I can, you're gonna have to pull that up to get that past, and then that little tang thing, if I had better lighting there, you gotta squeeze that in, there you go, to get that in there. Alright, so this is gonna be a prime example of why I don't give that much of a shit about those. See, I am pushed all the way right there against this one. It ain't gonna go any farther. And then over here, if I can get the angle right, remember I'm all the way to the left as far as I can go. And I can see this a little better with my eyes in the camera. But see, it's catching that one. So when I go to push it in, see, it's all the way over. It ain't gonna go any further. And it's still catching that. So there's no way for me to get this pad in here with that hardware there, because there's just not room. So I have no choice but to remove the hardware, at least on one side, to get this pad to fit in here. I'm taking that out so it'll fit. Okay, so there's the pad. It's installed. It's touching here as far as it'll go, and there I've removed the hardware. So sometimes that's what you got to do. Alright, so I got the other one slid in here. Depending on the orientation of this bracket, because it moves, so you need this bracket to come all the way back like that against these pistons like that. Now when I started it was kind of seized up forward a little bit. I had to squeeze it, and now it's moving freely. But anyways, that's where you're going to need it, so this one doesn't slide out the back, and so you can fully install this one. And also, don't touch the surface of the pad or the rotor with your dirty fingers. You want to keep them clean. If you accidentally touch it, just use brake parts cleaner and a rag and clean off wherever you touched it. Alright, so this thing moves so you can wiggle and finesse it some. So now I'm going to try to get it over my rotor here. Alright, so you can see I got it started on there, so I had to squeeze this one in a little to get it over. So I probably should have took my block out first. Get my block out of there and get this thing shoved on the rest of the way and get the holes lined up so I can put my mounting bolts back in. This is also a good time while you're at it. Pull these out and lubricate the pins if you so desire. Like I said, if you're doing the pads, you can just pull this piece off and you're already going to have that exposed anyways, and then you can put some brake parts grease on there, keep them lubed up. Alright, torque spec on these bolts. The caliper ones here with the guide pins, they're 20 foot-pounds. And your mounting bolts down here, if you take it off like I did, 59 foot-pounds. Alright, very important. When you remount the wheel, you want to torque this in 3 separate steps. You don't just hit it with an impact. You don't just tighten it down. You want to go in a crisscross pattern. Most people know that. Okay, never do one next to the other. Crisscross pattern like that. It's real easy with a 5 lug because you just do a star pattern. Alright, but you want to do it in 3 steps. Whatever the final torque is, You know, most cars is 90, 100 foot-pounds. I'll see if I can get the torque spec on these. But say it's 90, you'll do 30 foot-pounds, 60 foot-pounds, 90 foot-pounds, and then check it again when you're done. The reason for doing that is to make sure this wheel goes on perfectly straight. If you just tighten it down, you're done. Even if you do the crisscross pattern, if you only do it once, it might go on slightly cockeyed, which makes your rotor cockeyed. That's actually how you get your warped rotor symptom. Alright, so I got both sides done. Throw your cap back on. So if you go and pull out right now and hit your brakes, they're going to go to the floor and you're not going to stop. So when you push those pistons back in, you push all the fluid back up. So you need to get that fluid back down. Now don't just stomp on this. Some cars have a safety feature where if a bunch of fluid goes through all at once, it thinks you blew a brake line and it'll lock those brakes out. So you only have, well in this case since we just did the front, if it's one of those types of vehicles and you trip that safety device, then you would only have rear brakes because it locks out the front because it thinks you blew a line when you didn't. So you want to slowly get that pressure built back up. Push slowly on the brake pedal several times. Do not push it more than halfway. So basically like this. And you're going to do that however many times it takes for it to firm up. Feels like it's starting to there. Yep, there we go. So now I got my normal brake pedal back. Now I'm good to go. Now that's just a reference. Don't count how many times I did it and be like, well, mine's still squishy. Just do it until it might take 5, it might take 15. It depends on how far you're pushing it down and how far you push those pistons back up in there. So make sure you do that so you don't lock yourself out. Not that it would on this car, but I've had it happen before and that was a lesson learned. So always take it easy now, just in case you got one of those cars that's going to lock you out. Hey, if you liked the video, if it helped you out, please hit that thumbs up button for me. Leave me a comment and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching.